say. You are just smear merchants. Not one of you can tell me what I believe. Not one of you knows. But all of the public know because they can go to my YouTube channel, Sargon and just watch for themselves. I've been doing this for 5 years. I have nearly 1 million subscribers. Just go and have a look. I'm not answering your questions. I'm not apologising for anything. You dirty, dirty smear merchants. Get there.
This is what happens when a pleb runs for office.
The Labour Party has more racists than UKIP. The Conservative Party has more racists than UKIP. So, I don't need permission to be here, do I? Excuse me. Excuse me.
Same here. Oh. Another one of our friendly neighbourhood lefties has been very polite and genteel and kind.
Well, my glasses are ruined.
It was the Liberal Democrat who was very angry. Can we get a round of applause for the hero of the Liberal Democrats over there? Bravo for that fantastic argument, sir.
It's the second time this week
I've caused the world of good. And the thing is, one of us knows who you are, so we'll send the police round for assaulting one of our speakers.
It's the second time I've been covered in chocolate this week.
What's your question again, sorry?
Yeah, come on. What the fuck are you doing in our town?
It's not your town, is it?
It's not your town either.
Public space. But how do you know?
Public space. Because you're from fucking Swindon, aren't you?
Am I from Swindon?
Well,
so what, I'm not allowed to travel?
You're not allowed.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Hi, how you doing? You're not allowed.
Thanks, man.
In this town.
I am actually allowed.
Oh, who said so? Who's authority?
Who put you in charge of the town?
No, well,
nobody, right? Nobody.
I think people like you need to be closed the fuck down.
Okay, well, let's talk about it.
I don't want to talk to you.
Well, you are doing it right now.
I don't want to listen.
You are
I don't want to
talking.
listen to your stupid ideas.
Of course you don't. That's open-minded, inclusive progressivism.
Check you out.
You don't want to listen to my ideas.
Mate, none of your ideas are progressive.
How do you know? No, you're right. They're liberal.
Bullshit as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
How do you know if you don't listen to them?
Because I've seen plenty of your videos being ripped apart by H-Bomber guy, ContraPoint, Sean, all those bread.
Have a sensible conversation. Oh, that was you!
Oh, is this fun?
That was you!
Look at the camera. Look at that right there.
Smile! I'll be talking to the cops about you!
Yeah, what are the cops
Do you think we
doing?
won't find your identity? We know who you are.
Take him away. Get him back to the car.
Get that.
Did I ask? See? No, do I just? No, I don't. I'm not. I'm not at all. Well.
Fucking hey! Yes! No, it wasn't me.
Jordan! Hey!
I'm convinced. That's a very convincing argument, sir.
Black shirts!
That sounds racist, sir.
Black shirts!
Are you a racist?
No, you watch me. We'll show you the footage later. So you come here very aggressively. You've got over. Tommy, do it. Go on. That's what you get for being a fascist!
If you're not part of a mainstream political party, if you don't hold the right political opinions, if you don't subjugate yourself to the power structure of either the social justice left or the conservative right, this is what happens when you run for office. I'm sure most people watching my channel know the basic details by now. If not, I recorded a podcast with Scrump on this exact topic a few weeks ago. But Sargon decided to run for office as an MEP, a member of European Parliament, which is a largely trumped up position, but hey, if you're going to start somewhere, might as well start there. But the establishment roundly rejected his candidacy for a number of reasons. For some of them, it was because he was a gamergator, an anti-feminist, opposed to the encroachment of social justice into our everyday lives. For others, it was because he was a member of UKIP, a party of undesirables, of racists and bigots, even though it's really not. But for most people, it's because 3 years earlier, he had the audacity to tweet at MP Jess Phillips, "I wouldn't even rape you," while advertising one of his This Week in Stupid videos. Yeah, it's about as dumb as it sounds. Even though Jess Phillips herself admitted in an interview that she wasn't even bothered by the tweet.
Have you contacted the police?
I haven't on this incident. I mean, obviously it all sort of happened yesterday. It was a bank holiday. I was actually, whilst these people think that I'm sitting around playing the victim, I was playing games in the garden with my children most of the day.
The media still decided to rev up its dirty smear machine in an effort to sabotage a member of the lower order from rising above their station. Probably the most hilarious headline of the bunch is The National's UKIP unveil Nazi Pugman as one of its candidates. It makes Dankula sound like a Mega Man boss. But anyone with a brain knew that the media was going to do this, because the media is a one-trick pony. Whenever something happens that the journalistic class doesn't like, they come out in unison, pushing a false narrative, in the hope that they can sway the public to act in their interests. They did it with Gamergate, with Brexit, with Trump, and they're probably going to keep doing it long after Sargon's own run is over. And not only do the journalists do this, they believe it's their duty, their obligation, their privilege to do this. So when a political candidate surfaces from the lower ranks and says, "No, fuck you," they take it as a direct personal attack on their fundamental rights. The rise of Sargon the Usurper was never going to go over well with them, and their social media astroturfing plays that out. Sky News was caught taking comments out of context, and to nobody's surprise, when they were called out, they deleted the evidence. Mark DiStefano, the author of the many BuzzFeed articles ragging on Sargon, tweeted about how Sargon's Discord is full of Christchurch shooter supporters, failing to add that all the screenshots he's collected are from users who have been banned for those exact comments. Mark also complained that Sargon's candidacy is mobilizing YouTube-addicted gamers, as if people who watch YouTube or people who play video games are somehow inhuman creatures without voting rights. There was also a complaint that some people in the Discord were theorizing that Muslims started the Notre Dame fire and, oh hey, it's some fucking leaf. What's up, dude? I see you in my Discord a lot too. Imagine being Mark and posting this image to your Twitter as serious evidence against Sargon. Yes, I'm completely sure that the shitpost king is the linchpin to the alt-right's creation of the Fourth Reich. Carl Benjamin was removed from Twitter due to concerns about what he was spreading. That counts as extremist to me. I'm pretty sure he was removed from Twitter for posting 2 black guys fucking at the alt-right. And if you consider that extremist, that would make you a homophobe, wouldn't it? This is not normal. Carl Benjamin states he wouldn't even rape a female Labour MP. Is not raping women now considered not normal on the radical left? The male feminists have really gone too far over there, haven't they? Now that I can prove Backworldsman is the ban evasion account for UKIP's Carl Benjamin, people should know he's still using rape to menace women online. Teacher, Carl's ban evading on the internet. Also, how is he using rape to menace women when he said he wouldn't rape somebody? Is just using the word rape, the letters R, A, P, and E in that order, tantamount to using rape? Does that mean that you're using rape right now too? Here's Woz Lee, the quintessential guy that you look back on in your high school yearbook and wonder how he got through school without shooting it up. I would still rather have politicians necking cocktails on public transport than defending rape comments. Rape comments, as if neutral use of the word rape taints the comment forever. Does that make your tweet a rape tweet, Woz? Does that mean that you run a rape Twitter account? Is every one of those articles earlier published by a rape publication? Woz Lee used to push back against the SJWs, but he's since deleted all those videos, and now he believes that anything that touches rape, anything that comes in contact with rape, is replaced by and transforms into rape. Hello my friends, this is about halfway through the video, and because I now have to take sponsorships to make this whole YouTube thing work, I figured this is a good place to do it. I would like to advertise to you today a new Photoshop filter that you can buy for only 99 cents. It's a plugin called Rape Racer. That's right, you know what it does? It turns any image that you use it on into rape. Anything that touches rape is in fact rape. Let's see how it works. Let's see how it works, okay? We've got this innocent image right here, and let's see what happens when you use the rape racer on it. Oh, something's happening here. Oh, Sargon, that's you. What are you doing, Sargon? Oh my God. Oh my God. Is that Jess Phillips? Oh my God. Sargon, no. No, Sargon. No. Oh no, Sargon. Oh, how could you do this? Oh my God. Oh jeez. There goes your political career. Oh, I thought you said you wouldn't do that, Sargon. Well, to be fair, it looks kind of consensual, so maybe you guys worked it out. Sargon of Akkad is a colossal shit stain, so seeing him oh, for fuck's sake. It's always you, isn't it, Rick? Why are you on Twitter all the fucking time, dude? This is like 3 videos you've wormed your way into. I can always find you underneath any developing social justice story with the first reply. Make a goddamn video, stop acting like Spoonie. But here's the comment that cuts to the core of the issue. Watching Gerard Batten defend comments by one of his new MEP candidates to a Labour MP that he wouldn't even rape her is totally grim viewing. Batten dismisses it as satire. It's such a shame that Batten has destroyed the UKIP brand with these people. Well, it's obviously satire. That is, in fact, one of the key components of satire, that it's obvious. Sargon's YouTube channel got demonetized for another bit of obvious satire, where he, as part of the joke, briefly considers raping Jess Phillips, before saying that there wasn't enough beer. And this is clearly at least part of the problem. Comedy, satire, jokes are coming under attack by progressives in the media and in politics. Sargon's joke caused enough of an outcry that his livelihood was destroyed. Dankula's joke of a pug doing a Nazi salute nearly destroyed his entire life. It is a direct attack on comedy, and the SJWs do it by declaring the jokes in question to not be legitimate comedy at all. That's why when people like Darren Grimes come out and say Batten dismisses it as satire, they mean to say it's shameful that Batten considers Sargon's comments to be satire, when they are not considered to be satire by our estimation. And our estimation is the only thing that counts. Not the only thing that's correct, by the way, just the only thing that counts. That's why SJWs don't say, you're wrong, they say, that's a bad look. Being correct isn't important, but being popular is. Although even as these people push the narrative of their opponent's jokes not qualifying as real jokes, they also know, deep down inside, that they're just wrong. They don't actually believe that Sargon's "I wouldn't even rape you" isn't a real joke. They know it is. That's just an excuse, a means to an end. Their goal isn't to ruin comedy, it's to prevent plebs from opposing their power. Check out this timeline of events, but before you do, I want to remind you. Initially, Jess Phillips was not at all bothered by Sargon's comments.
Whilst these people think that I'm sitting around playing the victim, I was playing games in the garden with my children most of the day.
In the June 5th, 2016 article, I Set Out to Troll Her, we get a bit more context to the situation. Sargon's "I wouldn't even rape you" tweet was a direct reference to Phillips herself writing, "People talking about raping me isn't fun, but has become somewhat par for the course." It sounds to me like Jess Phillips had become accustomed to the heaps of abuse slung not just at her, but all MPs. And yes, all elected officials get their share of shit flung at them. Handling it properly is a mark of distinction. Jess Phillips, on the other hand, seems to have a lot of distinct marks, but not the ones we're talking about. April 14th, 2019. 3 years later. Jess Phillips threatens to counter-protest Sargon's campaign, showing no signs of fear. At this point, she's not afraid to meet up and protest in person. Spoiler alert, she ended up being too lazy to go. April 18th, 2019. Sargon refuses to back down and says that Jess Phillips tried to block a debate on male suicide in Parliament, a claim that she says is a lie, and threatens to send her lawyers after him for it. Spoiler alert, she actually did that, and video exists of it.
Because, of course, not only do we have International Women's Day, we also have women and equality questions every month in the Chamber, which we don't have for men. So the opportunity for men to raise issues that are important to them is very limited. And just to give you a flavour, Mr. Chairman, of the type of things that may come up and which will be part of International Men's Day, I'm not entirely sure why it's so humorous, but to discuss issues such as...
You have to excuse me for laughing, that the idea that men don't have the opportunity to ask questions in this place is a frankly laughable thing. As I say, as the only woman on this committee, it seems like every day to me is...
Well, I wasn't making, with respect, I wasn't making that point. I wasn't making the point that men don't have an opportunity to ask. I was about men's issues. There's a very big difference between men raising issues and the raising of men's issues.
But one could raise men's issues in any single one of the question sessions. So your men's health, absolutely. So prostate cancer, that could be raised in men's questions, couldn't it?
Well,
That could be
I very much,
raised in health questions,
Mr. Chairman, I very much look forward to these arguments being deployed when we come to consider a debate on International Women's Day, because exactly the same arguments could be raised for International Women's Day, that women's health issues, that equality issues could be raised in women and equality questions in other forms. So all I ask is for an equal crack of the whip, that if those issues can be raised without having a debate on International Men's Day, then obviously the same issues can apply for when it comes to International Women's Day. But those arguments have never won the day before this committee.
I just think that it's worth pointing out the idea that this chamber, that these houses, both of them, in any way reflect gender equality is to me a frankly laughable thing. And so in the fight for equality, I'm not sure the men on this list necessarily have that much to fight for. I don't care about men's issues, it's that I'm hoping for parity myself.
Hear, hear.
I absolutely care about men's issues. And when I've got parity, and when women in these buildings have parity, you can have your debate.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, if I can just make the point,
and that will take an awfully long time.
I'm not requesting a debate on representation within the House of Commons. I'm asking for debates on men's issues, and the list of issues I gave earlier, I would like to think people can recognise are genuine issues and actually are very, very rarely debated in the House of Commons.
At the same time, Sargon also decides to take up residence rent-free in Jess's head. May 4th, 2019. Despite being a strong feminist woman who won't be intimidated by no Sargon, Jess suddenly changes her position and embraces the victim role she's been spurning for years, saying that Sargon should be banned from running for office because he said, "I wouldn't even rape you." The Electoral Commission should surely have standards about who can stand for election. If Facebook and Twitter can ban these people for hate speech, how is it they are allowed to stand for election? Well, Facebook and Twitter are censorious bastards, so I wouldn't hold myself to their standard if I were you, Jess. Especially when you said, back in 2016, that Twitter was conspiring with the people who were trolling you. But beyond that, do we really want the government deciding that something subjective, like offense, should preclude you from running for office? Citizenship status makes sense. Committed any felonies recently? Sure. But offense, hurt feelings, mean words, shocking rhetoric, any kind of speech that you subjectively think should be banned from public discourse? No. Absolutely not. That should not be a limiting factor on whether or not you can run for office. Imagine if the religious conservatives did that, Jess. Oh, you're pro-abortion, are you? Pro-contraceptive? Pro-women's rights? Well, that's offensive to the religious conservatives. So now you can't run for office, you can't hold a job, you can't have sex outside of marriage, and when you're married, you can't refuse your husband, and you can't vote or own property. This is where your ridiculous logic will bring us. May 7th, 2019. UKIP candidate to be investigated over Jess Phillips' rape joke. Tell a joke, the cops come after you. That's the state of the UK. But check this out. Miss Phillips told the BBC she cried in the street after hearing a video by him. She said that until then she had been putting on a brave face and pretending that it was all fine and that I could cope. Oh, really? It was all fine and dandy before, no problem, nothing fazed you, the strong, independent woman. But as soon as it becomes advantageous to be a victim, you're a victim, aren't you, Jess? The tears come right the fuck out.
Whilst these people think that I'm sitting around playing the victim, I was playing games in the garden with my children most of the day.
May 10th, 2019. Jess Phillips interview. Anyone could kill me, but I don't live my life frightened. We've gone from joking about not raping you to death threats and wall-to-wall media coverage, complete with a photo of Jess in the classic stunning and brave position, looking just off camera, out a window that opens up to the vile misogynistic patriarchy that she has to live under every single day. By the way, the death threats, as far as I can tell, they actually haven't really been sent to Jess Phillips. Some young lefty MPs have a private WhatsApp group, and in it, another MP posted some graffiti they had encountered. Hang traitor MPs. A different MP got a tweet sent to them. MPs could do with a course of HIV. Yet another MP talked about police escorting them to visit a local school because a gang threatened to show up with bats. None of these MPs are Jess Phillips, though. They're all different MPs. When the plan to murder Rosie Cooper, a Northwest Labour MP, was discovered and stopped, one man took it to the internet and said he wished it had been me and encouraged those with such plans to target me. Is there a link to that tweet? It's not included in the article. Hold on, let's do a little search here. A search of Twitter using those words doesn't really seem to come up with anything, so... But okay, let's say that somebody actually sent Jess Phillips a copycat threat based on the Rosie Cooper threat. Finally, somebody has actually wished harm on Jess Phillips. And if that's true, the guy should probably be locked up if it was a direct threat and not a joke. If it was a serious threat. I'm actually fine with the penalties of threatening or even attacking an elected official being higher than regular assault. Elected officials can affect the laws of the land, so using physical violence or intimidation against them to try and coerce them is pretty serious. However, criticism isn't violence, obviously, and neither is satirical comments, but actual threats of violence should be punished for sure. Unless you're Jess Phillips doing the threatening, of course. Labour MP Jess Phillips will knife Corbyn in the front if he damages the party. Labour MP Jess Phillips has spoken of her determination to see Labour win the 2020 general election, saying she would knife Jeremy Corbyn in the front, not the back, if it looks like he is damaging the party's chances of success. So yeah, stabbing Jeremy Corbyn. That's a death threat against a politician, right, Jess? Oh, I am no more going to actually knife Jeremy Corbyn than I am actually a breath of fresh air. Oh, I see. So when you do it, it's satire. You obviously don't mean it. There's no real threat there. But when it's done to you, it's 100% real. And you're entitled to be as victimized, or as non-victimized, as your circumstances require you to be. Aren't you? And this is why it's not actually about the jokes, but about the suppression of the commoner who's even daring to think that they can run for office. The jokes don't matter. They're just a convenient excuse to justify attacking the people who, in the UK, don't live in London, or in the States, don't live on the coasts. I know this is a very British-centric video because it's Sargon running for office right now, but the same playbook will be used by the same players if and when outsider candidates decide to run for office in the US or Canada or anywhere else. They will throw out every single excuse they can, but they'll never actually stand by those excuses because the true goal is suppression. That's why Jess Phillips can joke, and Sargon or other Twitter plebs cannot. That's why the media will excuse Jess's joke, but will call foul at Sargon's joke every chance they can get. And that's also why the montage at the beginning of this video included actual violence. Sargon's rape tweet is beyond the pale for these journos, but actually throwing milkshakes at candidates is just fine, simply because of who the candidate is. That's why egging Jeremy Corbyn came with 1 month in jail, but throwing milkshakes at Sargon or Milo or whoever else is just fine. That's why the radical left calls literally everyone a Nazi all the fucking time, and it's completely okay. And not only is it okay, it's endorsed and encouraged by radical lefty politicians. But when people call establishment candidates Nazis, there's actually legal ramifications. People are actually punished by the law for this shit. Establishment candidates are protected from speech they don't like. Outsider candidates are encouraged to be assaulted. It's simply how the elites treat the plebs. And you know, while it might be pretty funny to read the tweets of the anarcho-ham-beasts talking about how they want to throw bricks at Sargon, while failing to realize that they likely can't even pick up a brick in the first place, people really are becoming more and more radicalized.
As for the rape advocates, well, I think they deserve death penalty too, including Carl Benjamin, especially Carl Benjamin. On a soft-core version, what Carl Benjamin deserves is to be institutionalized and forcefully lobotomized, full frontal lobotomy. Leave him as a complete vegetable, unable to utter a word, unable to form a thought, immobile, forever, in a solitary cell. In the worst-case scenario, which is actually the best, Carl Benjamin is dead. Carl Benjamin suffers the death penalty, as he must. I'm the greatest advocate for Carl Benjamin's demise, torture, agony, long suffering, and death. Death to Carl Benjamin. Death to Carl Benjamin. Death to Carl Benjamin.
Serious violence is going to start, and I don't mean eggs or milkshakes. I know where this road leads, and nobody should want to go there. I don't want to go here in Canada, you Britbongs shouldn't want to go there in the UK, you Americlaps shouldn't want to go there in the States. But this is where the radical leftist establishment is taking us. If you're a pleb, and you run for office, the entire political machinery of the state is going to come after you. And the prevailing narrative will be that it's your fault, just like how it's the fault of a rape victim for wearing revealing clothing. Progressives, despite largely being open borders communists at this point, are paradoxically happy to side with the establishment machine against the working class man who steps out of line. And they feel that they are justified in escalating things as much as they like if it means silencing you. Social justice warriors believe your speech is violent, and their violence is speech.
Dev, SFO, make better videos, you cunt.
Right, I speak to Dev all the time. He's a good friend of mine. Man, Dev, you've been fucking called out, mate. You know.